Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where and when you're listening to this. This is Coffee with Kevin. Coffee with a K. This is the coffee. This is my dad's fuel. That's what this says, Dad's fuel. Mm-mm-mm. Given to me by one of my lovely children. And I'm Kevin, by the way. Kevin Martini, a mindset coach, hypnotherapist, and a bunch of other things. Today, September 3rd, September already. Oh my God, we're just whizzing through this year. It's incredible. September 3rd, not too much on this day, truthfully. In 1783, basically, there was the Paris Treaty, which officially made the Revolutionary War over and officially designated the Americas as an independent state. So kind of that was where we started, and it was an end, a really formal end to a long war to become independent. Not much else on let's see on this day. There wasn't too much else going on this day. Anyway, we are here. It's been an interesting week, an interesting weekend. Um, Lots of heat down in Tampa. We are in Florida, and lots of rain. Our typical. It's really strange. Our typical summer days has been nice and even hot in the daytime, and in the afternoon, late afternoon, we get rain almost every day consistently. It's as if it's clocked, it's timed. It's really strange. But regular things. Last year at this time, we were, I don't know, 10, 12 inches lower than the previous year of water. This year, we're not anywhere near that. The reservoirs still aren't up to what they're supposed to be, and I think what they're supposed to be is probably from years and years ago. But we're getting a lot of rain. We have a lot of rain. We've had a lot of floodings. The grass is always wet. I got a little stream that runs between the houses in the backyard. And it was there when I got here last year. It was dry and it had been dry for a long time. And now it's always has, 6 inches of water in it. So things change. Even in the little over a year that I've been here, things have changed. Everything changes. We see change in our lives. We see change in our community. We see change in our government. We see change in our family relations. We see change all the time. And in order to keep up with change, we need to adapt. We need to keep up with change. We need to basically grow. Basically, we need to grow. And that's what I'm talking about today. That's what I'm talking about today. Let's go find our first quote. Our first quote is life is growth. Basically, life is growth. I love that. If we stop growing technically and spiritually, we are as good as dead. That was by Morihei Ueshiba. I know that your pronunciation is not going to be right. I used to talk about another Tony Robbins quote. I don't know the exact words, and I've not seen it written, but I've heard it from him. He said, "We're like plants. When we stop growing, we start dying." And that's true. That's true. Growing, what is growing? Growing is learning. We learn to adapt when things change. We learn to, um, you know, we learn how to move with the flow. And if we're moving with the flow, that's kind of growing as well. Now, the second quote I have is a Tony Robbins quote. And this might say it here, all growth starts at the end of your comfort zone. When I saw that, I said, that is so cool, because what I talk about a lot with my students and some with my clients is you got to get outside of your comfort zone. If we're in a bubble and we're in our comfort zone, we never ever want to leave it. We're good here. We get left behind because things are moving so much in this world. Technically, things are moving at light speed almost. For technology, and for other things, for sciences, things have been moving. We're finding so much more in sciences now than we ever had in the past. And we have this thing called AI, which is helping us move so much faster. If you resist growth, you get left behind. If you resist growth, you get left behind. Yes, you have to get out of your comfort zone. Yes, there's things that are going to be difficult. And yes, there's going to be things that you can't do, but that's okay. There are two types of mindsets. There is a growth mindset. And since we're talking about growth, I'll talk about growth mindset. Growth mindset is a mindset that says, hey, I'm open to learn. I'm not stuck in my ways forever. I'm pretty much open to learn and try things. And the really cool thing about growth mindset is if you try things and they don't work out, if they become that big F word, fail, you don't mind so much because you don't take failure as a failure. You take failure as a learning process. You're going to learn how to do it better next time. You're going to learn how to do it right. Or you're going to learn that maybe this isn't the direction you want to go in. That's something that's not often talked about when we're going for goals, when we're going along life's journey and we set a direction. And we find out that the direction isn't going to work for us. Maybe it's a direction that we can't take for one reason or another, or maybe it's a direction that just doesn't work in our lives anymore. And it's not a failure to say, okay, I got to reset my direction. I got to now go for these goals. That's not a failure at all. That's a recognition. That's an adaptation. And adapting is part of growth. Adapting is part of growth. Could almost say, if you don't adapt, you die. Especially when we got such a fast-moving world today. And, die, again, spiritually, not physically, of course. But you do get left behind. I've talked about technology. I used to be in technology. And we get to a point where you knew your technology really, really well. You could fix anything. You could do anything with it. And then all of a sudden, a new technology comes around. And you have to learn it all over again. It's like, okay. When everything went to cloud, this happened. It's like, okay, do I stay in where I'm really, really excellent? Or do I learn the new stuff where I'm not going to be excellent? I know a few people that decided to stay. And after less than a year, they were outdated. They couldn't, they had a niche which was shrinking and shrinking because everybody was moving to the new technology. And they didn't know it. And they couldn't do it. I think that's a metaphor in life too. When we don't want to learn what's new. When we don't want to learn what's new. And we stay behind because it's out of our comfort zone. Stepping out of your comfort zone isn't that bad. I know it's the unknown. And try it out. But try it out with the fact that, hey, you're not going to fail. You're just seeing if you can do this at this time. And if you can't, you learn why. When you reframe failure, it's never a failure. Otherwise, Thomas Edison would have been the most distraught person in the world. He failed. It's either 1,000 times or 10,000 times. It says it differently in different places, but he failed a lot before he found the right filament for the light bulb. And someone asked him, "How can you deal with having failed so much?" He said, "I didn't fail. I was just finding all these ways that it didn't work. I was getting them out of my way." It's like, yeah, he looked at it completely differently. And when you can look at things completely differently, you can adapt, you can grow. So the other mindset, other than growth mindset, is a fixed mindset. Fixed mindset says, hey, I'm happy with what I can do, what I know, and I'm good at it. And I won't step outside of those boundaries because I don't want to fail. I don't want to have things not work for me. I need to be in the boundaries of where everything works for me. Does it sound familiar? Sound just like what I was talking about. That's a fixed mindset. Fixed mindset doesn't necessarily have to be someone who can't do things. They can be experts because at some point in their lives they weren't fixed, but then they became fixed. And then it's like, okay, I'm not going outside of my comfort zone. My comfort zone is right here where I work. That's a fixed mindset. No new relationships, no new learning new things, not growing spiritually, not growing physically, not growing in a lot of ways. That's a total fixed mindset. You want to be on the other side. You want to be the growth mindset. You want to be the person. You want to be the person who is, I'm kind of looking to see if we got any chats going on here. Not yet. If you're listening to this, you're probably listening to this after the fact. You want to be the person that grows. You want to be the person that is not afraid of stepping out of your comfort zone, because you know that's growth. And you don't have to do it wildly different. When I was 18 and 19, I decided I was going to jump out of a plane. Talk about stepping out of your comfort zone, and stepping out of your comfort zone, even literally, because you had to step out of the plane onto a step before you let go. That's huge. That was a huge leap. Again, another pun. That was a huge leap for me. All right, you don't have to do those huge leaps. Small ones. Small ones. Go to places that you haven't been to. Take up something you haven't done yet. Try something new. Read some new books. Read some types of books maybe you haven't. You don't know anything about. Go do something to help yourself grow. You're going to grow physically. You're going to grow mentally. You're going to grow emotionally. You're going to grow spiritually as you step out of your comfort zone little by little. You don't have to do it all at once and do something drastic like I did. You can just do little things. Meet some new people. Introduce yourself to some new people. See how that works. All right, this has been another edition of Coffee with Kevin, and I hope you've had a nice warm cup of something, coffee, tea, hot chocolate, milk, or a cool cup. Whatever you're drinking and whatever you put in it is perfectly okay. It's always good to sit for a coffee chat. Till next week, I wish you a great day, and I wish you a fantastic week. Matter of fact, I don't have to wish it for you because you already know you can make it. You're in control. You can make it a great day. You can make it a fantastic week. Take care, all. Bye.